Hello, and welcome to NDL Training. My name's John Foster. I'm the National Sales and Training Manager at NDL, and we want to invite you to sit in on training on filter dryers today. But before we do that, some of you may not know who NDL is. NDL actually started back in 1998. We started as an engineering consulting firm. We're a Canadian company located in Vancouver, Canada. And we started by doing refrigeration, air conditioning engineering in North America and New Zealand. We soon discovered the need for a robust refrigeration fitting. From that point, we became a manufacturer. And now we are a world-class manufacturer. We produce ball valves, ACR fittings, air conditioning fittings, PVC, gas connectors, filter dryers. Now that you know a little bit about NDL, let's talk about filter dryers. You may have heard of them referred to as system protectors, and that's exactly what they do. They're to ensure that your system is protected against moisture, acid, wax, anything that could harm or degrade the system itself. There are so many different manufacturers of filter dryers. What separates NDL from the rest? First, we make a full line of filter dryers. Liquid line, suction line, bi-flow, cores, and shells. So what happens with each one? Well, the liquid line is to protect the system against moisture, acid, wax, and debris. Now, most manufacturers will give you a filter dryer that has desiccant only. That only does one portion of the job. We're going to give you a filter dryer that does every portion. What happens when I start up a system if I don't do a good evacuation on it and I leave moisture in the system? Moisture eventually turns to acid in the system. That eats away at the compressor, particularly on the cylinder walls and the cylinder heads themselves. What kind of desiccants are there? You've got traditional XH6 and XH9, which has been used for years on the air conditioning systems. But with the advent of 410A, a discovery was made that XH6 and XH9 also had the potential of holding one of the components of 410A, and that was R32. And that's because if you look at the molecular structure of R32, it's almost identical to moisture. And XH6 and 9 only reach out and hold moisture. So if it's seeing the R32 and it looks like moisture, it's going to hold it also. There came a development of another desiccant. It's called XH11. XH11 is referred to as an intelligent desiccant. And that's because it can tell the difference between a moisture molecule and an R32 molecule. So it only holds the moisture. It will not hold the R32. That's better for your system. That's better for the operation. It's better for your customer. This is a cutaway of our filter dryer. It's a beaded dryer. Now, it differs from anybody else's beaded dryer that's out there in the fact that our competitors have traditionally used flat perforated screens. We use a basket screen that has an oblong cut to it. That reduces pressure drop. It also means that your beads are secure. You can't cock the basket. It's held in by a spring. We do something else that's different from any other manufacturer. We use a process that we clean any kind of foreign materials or bacteria out. We'll coat it and then we dry it. So there's no chance for it to form any rust in the system. Because once you have rust, it'll start to get into the rest of the system. And that's where our competitors differ from us. So we've got desiccant, a little bit of activated alumina, so that if you've got a moisture situation that's been going on and it's formed acid, it'll take the acid out. We also have a little bit of charcoal in there so that if you have wax that's formed, it'll remove the wax. Then we have a fiberglass pad in there to take out any kind of debris. We're doing the complete job. We want to make sure that the system is protected in all situations. We also make filter dryers in the XH6 and 9. We make them in a solid core, which you're probably used to. But we also put activated alumina and charcoal in our XH6 and 9 filter dryers. So we have a complete line of filter dryers. Let's talk a little bit about the construction of them. Once again, we use a steel shell. We clean the shell before we put anything into the filter dryer so that it won't form rust. We furnace braze all of our ends on in an oxygen-free environment. That means you can't form rust. Most of our competitors that are manufacturing filter dryers are not using an oxygen-free system. So that means that they end up with rust forming within the first 18 months. And then we use an electroless nickel plating on our ends. So that gives them an added strength, added durability. We offer these in flare. We offer it in a pure copper end for brazing. So either way that you want to do your filter dryers, we have that capability. We offer a complete line of cores. So if you're doing a commercial job or a supermarket job, we have the cores and we have steel shells that are available for you. Now we inventory all of this in our Atlanta and our Vancouver, Canada warehouses. Why would you trust your expensive system to a low-cost filter dryer? Try NDL. Experience the difference.